Take an adventure into the paranormal, where you will discover many haunted locations, hear personal stories about paranormal encounters, and see a supernatural world through the eyes of experienced paranormal researchers Joe Frankie and Dr. Heather Lee. Joe Frankie is a veteran in the paranormal world, beginning his journey in 1986 as an apprentice, working alongside his mentors, renowned researchers Ed and Lorraine Warren. Today, Joe is an accomplished paranormal researcher, demonologist, consultant, and lecturer with over 37 years of experience. Dr. Heather Lee is the founder of Exploration Paranormal, based out of Southwest Central Florida. With more than 35 years' experience researching and investigating paranormal activity. She is a member of Paranexus, Anomalous Research Association, and the Witches Paranormal Society. Now, your hosts of Passport to the Paranormal, Joe Frankie and Dr. Heather Lee.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Passport to the Paranormal. Super excited to be here tonight. Joe, how are you doing?
Good. How are you? Did you fare well in the storm?
I'm good, yeah. We survived. It went further north than expected, so we managed, but that just means the next one's going to come through even stronger.
Is there another one out there somewhere?
Not yet, but, by the time you come to Florida, there will be.
I thought Franklin was coming right at Connecticut, but we lucked out.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yeah. You never know with these storms. We're just going to keep sending them your way. And I see Resnick and Stephanie are already watching us. Thank you guys for watching and supporting the show. We have an amazing guest. You guys probably already know him, especially if you are regular viewers of any of the WLTK DB Talk radio shows. So we'll bring him on in just a moment. Just a few things, Joe. I don't know if you saw my post earlier. I'm doing some work for Joe behind the scenes while he's handling other stuff. And I always love surprising him. But we will be taking a month off. We have so much going on over the next month between events, conventions, lectures. And also I posted that we are looking for some show sponsors to help bring you guys some more amazing stuff. And I've created a show sponsorship starting at $25. And if we can get 6 monthly sponsors at $25, I figured we would do a giveaway. And since you and I are going to be together in Orlando soon, and you wrote the foreword to my book, we would both sign the copy of the book, and we'll do a drawing from one of the 6 sponsors. So if
that'd be awesome.
Yep. If you guys are interested, let me know. I'll make sure I get that information out. I am going to post more information once I have that going. But other than that, anything you want to say before we get started, Joe?
No, just to add to what you were saying about taking a month off. I mean, I when you brought it up, I agree with you. It's just September and October for people like us we're just swamped. In addition to paranormal lectures and appearances, I know I've got 2 weddings coming up, and just a lot of family stuff. So we didn't really want to do it, but unfortunately, it's a necessary evil right now. So hopefully people won't miss us too much, but we'll come back even stronger.
Exactly. And I'm working on a schedule, and you and I are talking Tuesday to come up with a little bit more. We have a whole bunch of amazing guests, and I figured you and I could rotate between just you and I chatting back and forth, and then having our guests on the show. So we'll do a full rotation for that coming up. So lots of amazing things happening.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, but we'll prepare. You're much more organized than I am, especially.
No. Do you know I have my Exploring the Paranormal show on Tuesdays is already booked through next June?
Wow, through June?
June of next year.
You see, you got your stuff together.
I know. Hopefully these people remember that they agreed to do the show.
I'm booked through tomorrow morning.
I know. That's why I didn't book you, because you would forget tomorrow.
Well, that's not my fault.
I know, I'm just teasing. But I suppose I should put my glasses on to see. Teresa, I thought it said Tesla without my glasses, but Teresa, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. If you guys have any questions, let us know. We are more than happy to talk to you guys, answer any questions. And our guest, as I mentioned, is amazing. It's our producer, actually. So it's Todd Bates. So he has to be here anyway. So we figured we'd have him on the show because he has to be in the background. So now he gets to join in on all the fun. And what's funny is, not what's funny, but he did write a book, and we're going to be talking about that. It's called The Haunted Voice. And I'm going to pick on Joe a little bit right now, because when I mentioned that, Joe's like, I didn't know that.
Well, you know.
You need to know people, Joe. Talk to people. Talk to people.
Yeah, but you don't want to know the people I know.
But anyway, before Joe and I get in trouble, go ahead, Todd. You can come on.
I'm always in trouble. I'm always in trouble.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for
Joe,
joining.
it's okay. It's okay. How you guys doing? I'm glad you escaped the storm.
Yes. So it's raining now, but we have rain for the next 2 to 3 days, I think.
Isn't it rain every day in Florida?
Yeah, but we were like dry before the storm. I think we went almost a week and a half without rain.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot this year. This is the first year that I can remember in recent memory that my lawn didn't turn brown.
Mm-hmm.
Still nice and green because we've had a lot of rain. And I don't water my lawn because I have a well, and I don't want to run my well dry watering the lawn. But
I have to mow twice a week because of all the heat and humidity we've had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that stuff's grown so quick. It's hard to keep up with. It's driving me bananas.
That's why we still rent. The landlord does that.
We've got one of those little battery-powered push mowers. It sounds like a drone. It's terrible. It's not manly at all.
Yeah, you got to have at least 170 cc's.
I was going to say, pull up a sound bite on your phone and just blare it as you go. That sounds like a lawnmower.
It's terrible. People look at you.
But anyway, with the storm, that actually brings up a question that I wanted to ask. Do you guys think storms such as hurricanes can boost paranormal activity or fuel it? Because what's interesting is I've been playing around with AI just to see what AI thinks about the paranormal, and really AI doesn't have a good impression of the paranormal field. And its exact words were, "There are no ghosts, so a storm can't fuel paranormal activity."
Well,
so
AI
don't listen to ChatGPT.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy I'm hearing about AI, especially in like the movies. Aren't the actors striking or something, or the writers?
Yeah, that's because of taking over. But the Supreme Court just voted that AI generated material is not copyrightable.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Well, that would make sense. I don't know, because it's not really creative. It's AI, which is getting scary.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
Some of these robots, they look like real human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've got a movie coming out. I just saw it's going to be in theaters. It's something AI, something control AI, where it reminds me of the movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis.
Okay. Yep.
Where they took over. These people would lay in these beds and put this little goggle thing on, and then this robot comes out of their closet and goes to work for them, drives, gets grocery, everything, and then comes home. That's what's coming.
Ghost robots?
Yeah. and then at the end of they pull the plug on the whole thing, and everything, all these cars crash into each other, and everybody just comes out of their houses for the first time in years. And I don't know. It kind of reminded me of COVID in a way, because everybody was trapped and came out. But the way AI is taking over is insane.
Some things just shouldn't be messed with.
Right.
I mean, I don't think certain things are not meant to be messed with, like people's brains. Tapping your brain waves into a computer, and
Yeah,
like,
but then how do we
computer
know if we
think
can
for
upload our
you, and
consciousness when we go?
yeah, I mean, that's weird. That's just, I don't know. That could be dangerous.
Can be
Mhm.
very dangerous.
Yeah.
And your question about hurricanes and storms in general in the paranormal, I think before and after a thunderstorm are two of the best times to go. I think it
Mhm.
charges maybe the ions in the air or something,
Hmm.
but it seems the times I've been out, I had to retire because I'm obsessed with this stuff. Times I went out before and after storms, I got the best results.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, with all the energy now, I never really thought of it that way, but yeah, there's a lot of energy in the air, and the atmosphere is, like you said, charged.
Mhm.
Lightning.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that it could heighten paranormal activity.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm
And that's
open
why
to
we need to
anything.
be documenting all that. Was there a storm? What's the weather like?
Yeah, I mean, and if you document it, can it be scientifically proven? That's the tough part. It's like it doesn't.
Mhm.
It's not really. It doesn't really matter what we believe. It's what we can prove.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like obviously if you're in a
yeah,
court
it's
of
come
law,
down to
it's like
that.
you
Yeah.
got to be able to prove it. That's why you hear me, going off on a tangent about a lot of this equipment out there and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's neat. It's a good
Mhm.
theory, but does it really get past the theory stage? Can you prove scientifically that these cat balls are detected? I know I'm going to get in trouble by everyone picking on cat balls, but it's like,
Send hate mail to Joe Frankie.
oh, I don't care. I get enough of my life.
What about you, Joe? What's your favorite kind of equipment?
To be honest with you, I have a couple cameras, recorders, but the best piece of equipment I have is my Sony magnetic tape recorder. It's like 30 years old or so, and I've gotten more EVPs with that. I'm old school. I don't have a lot of equipment. I don't. It's not that I don't believe in this equipment, but I just think that some of this equipment is hundreds and hundreds of dollars, even more than that sometimes, and it's not proven. Someone takes a nice Canon or Sony, video camera, and they modify it, and and then they market it as ghost hunting equipment,
Mhm.
and like and then people eat this like candy. They like hook, line, and sinker,
Yeah.
and they go out and spend. Look, yay capitalism. Okay, they're not doing anything wrong. It's illegal to do, but I don't want to spend my hard-earned money on something that's unproven. I've got a Gauss meter, an old Gauss meter. It's got to be, God, at least 30 years old. But what does that tell me? It tells me that there's, the levels of EMF at a location. But what I used to do when I'd go to a house, if I'm doing a private residence, is I'll ask the homeowner, can I turn the power off? I mean,
Mhm.
the main. Or can they do it? I don't touch it.
Mhm.
Would you mind pulling the main for maybe 10, 15 minutes? Not going to hurt anything. Just shut everything off in the house. So now you're walking around trying to do a baseline reading, and you shouldn't be getting anything, unless there's some kind of outside influence from the street or whatever. Or if you've got equipment like cell phones or back in the day, a Nextel walkie-talkies or something like that, something that could emit that. We had some high spikes one time on a case, and then we took our cell phones and we moved them like into another room, and then it went away. So it's like we do trial and error, and so I mean the Earth is just a big magnetic field anyway. So
Mhm.
just because cat balls or whatever the device is that's supposed to measure this EMF, but when you watch these TV shows, it's like, oh, it went off. Oh my God, and everybody's freaking out saying there's something over there. I'm like, really? I mean, how do you know that? I mean, maybe there is. I don't know. I'm not saying there's not, but how do you prove that? Or use these SLS cameras. I don't believe in that stuff. I mean,
I can't follow it. Man.
I mean, I hate to be like a Debbie Downer here and poo-poo stuff,
No.
but like I said, when I started doing this, and Todd, probably when you did, and Heather, we didn't have these toys. It's like, so where did this stuff come from? I mean, it's great to hypothesize and build equipment that in theory would work, but okay, maybe it works to pick up EMF or something, or surges in electrical energy. But who's to say that it's ghost related or spirit related? I mean, if we theorize that spirits are a form of energy, so yeah, it could be. It's like orbs. I mean, we can go off in an hour just talking about orbs. Yes. All the flight,
This episode brought to you by Pledge.
Yeah, I know. But when you try to explain to people about orbs and what they can be, and they can be discounted as this, or that, they get mad at you.
They do.
Well, why did you ask me if you don't want to know the answer? Because they've already convinced themselves, and they're looking for someone to validate it, someone that's got years of experience. And I'll be like, well, yeah, it's interesting, but it looks like it might be a bug. So you can see the wings. That's not a bug. That's a ghost. Okay. Have a nice day.
So when someone comes to my table at the event and they show me a picture or a video of an orb, I'm going to be like, oh my goodness, that's a demon. Go talk to Joe Frankie about it. He's right there.
That's fine. That's fine.
You'll have a line of people at the table with phones out ready to show you 100 videos.
Well, I mean, I like to give examples. We got an example. We're working on a case now where there's a gentleman who believes that he has I don't want to say demon, but he says he has a negative attachment. And I'm like, well, why do you immediately go to the paranormal? Because you can't explain something. And one of the pieces of tangible evidence, I should say, is he sent a picture in of his bathroom mirror. And the bathroom mirror looks like somebody took a wet sponge and threw it at the mirror. And it splatted. And then, the residual water or liquid dripped down. And he's like, well, no, my aide comes in every day and washes this mirror. I'm like, well, okay, well, maybe the aide started to wash the mirror and the phone rang and she forgot to come back. I don't know. I can't explain it. But immediately people jump to the paranormal. They think it's got to be some kind of supernatural force that did this.
Ectoplasm.
Or you're sitting there and you feel this. Another example of the same gentleman. He's sitting there and he's feeling this burning sensation in his leg. And I'm like, well, that could be a multitude of medical reasons, or it doesn't mean you've got a demon attacking your leg.
A demon hand grabbing you.
You can't explain it. And then when you talk to people that are close to him, like family members, and they're like, we don't experience anything. I'm like, look, I'm not, and this guy wants us to come out there and investigate and remove this attachment. And I'm like, unless there's orange monkeys flying around your apartment, I'm not going out. I'm not driving 5 hours out of my way. But I don't want people to think I don't want to help them. I do, but I don't think it's paranormal in nature. The kind of help that he needs isn't something I can provide. And the thing is, this person, this happens with a lot of people, is they don't want to hear it. They get mad at you, and they'll jump from team to team to team until they find somebody that will believe them and validate their claims. And it's usually a team that doesn't know what the hell they're doing.
Exactly, and that's sad.
And I'm not knocking anybody in particular. It's just, you got to be careful what you tell people. People go in and say, oh yeah, you have a portal in your closet. One case we're working on, there was another so-called investigator that says, I locked the skinwalker in your closet. So you couldn't get out. I didn't know how to get rid of him. I locked him in your closet. And I'm like, remember the old V8 commercials? Like this. I'm like, you locked
the skinwalker in your closet.
And then the guy, I guess somebody opened the closet and let him out. Well, it's your fault. I had him contained.
I mean, that reminds me. I mean, one of my guilty pleasures is watching Hoarders because it makes me feel like I have a clean house. And one of the episodes, this poor girl, and even the psychologist went along with it just because she truly believed she had something in her house. And they called in a local shaman who had this little bowl thing that he brought in, and he did his ceremony thing with a whistle, and he covered the bowl, and he's like, I've captured the spirit and I'm leaving. And I'm watching that like, oh no.
I've captured the spirit and I'm leaving. Who are you going to call?
The spirit with him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was taking it with him. And it's
Ghostbusters.
like, really?
I think it's time to show the balls.
Your bong again?
Oh no, he's got it out again.
Oh, it's still here. I had it from a couple of shows ago. Yeah, well, I mean, you know what's disgusting though is the people that claim that they can remove things and they say they got rid of it and then they charge for it.
Yeah.
I have a personal friend of mine and her husband who had a restaurant that had a lot of activity in it, and some of it was scary, but no one was actually hurt. But there was a lot of activity that happened, like the burners in the kitchen would turn on by themselves. The flames would be 6 inches high, and she's got pictures of it and video of it. But you know, with a gas burner, you have to push it in and turn it, and then it clicks, and then the flame goes on. So she had this woman come in, and I don't remember her name. I'm not going to mention any names anyway, but she said that she could get rid of it. So the woman goes, does her thing, and goes around for an hour or whatever, and said, so she says she gets rid of it. Now, this person I know, I didn't know her well way back then. I'm going back probably 20 years ago. She charged her. I said, well, how much did you pay this person? And she said, all in all, close to $15,000.
Oh.
And I was like, what? You know, $15,000.
Wow.
So obviously when the activity didn't stop, or you know, maybe it ceased for a little while and came back, and she contacts the lady back. She's like, well, you know, I got rid of it. You must have did something to welcome it back or bring it back. I'm like, oh my God. And you actually paid this woman money.
Wow.
I'm like, anybody that's credible, in my opinion, my humble opinion, will not charge anything to help somebody. All right. I mean, that's not.
If anything, we give them a few bucks for letting us rummage around their area, you know.
It's very frustrating, and you know how I get riled up about this stuff.
Yeah. And the thing too is when it comes to cleansings, you need to be careful with how you word it, because I do cleansings at home, but I also involve the homeowner, and I teach them how to do it, and it's more or less trying to help them raise their own vibrations, and you know, give them the self-confidence that their home, you know, is clean. Yeah. In the aspect that it reduces the activity because they're more confident and they take over their own space.
Right, but when you guys help people, you obviously make sure that they're an integral part of it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
I'm not just going to show up with a proton pack on my back. Oh, Joe, can you get rid of this? No. I'm going to help you. This is your home. This is your family, you know, or your place of business, or what have you. I said, but you need to take a stand, and as Ed always used to say, face your fear. Yeah, okay, you're afraid of it because you don't understand it. It may not be natural, hence the term supernatural. However, you know, this is your house. My biggest pet peeve is when someone's afraid to live in their home or go into a certain room of their home. I've had people say, well, I don't go in, I never go into the basement. I'm like, yeah, everything happens in the basement or maybe the attic. But it's like, well, where's your laundry room? In the basement. So it's like, or I won't go down in the basement alone. I'm like, this is your house.
I live in fear.
Kingdom. This is something you're paying a mortgage on, or at least rent or leasing something. You're paying money to live here, and you're afraid to go in your own house. I've been to homes where I'd get there and the people are waiting outside. I'm like, why are you waiting outside? Well, I was waiting for you to get here. I don't want to go. I said, this is your house. You're afraid to go in your own house? You know, and a lot of times it's up here.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's why we include the residents in the investigations with us, because we want to show them there's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, just don't have any, you know, obviously
educate
children. You know, if they have children, we have them removed. And
but
you know, but a lot of people just say, okay, well, we're going to go get a motel for the night. You guys, you know, do what you do. I'm like, no, that's television.
That opens up a whole nother can of worms when it comes to legalities and.
Goodness.
Too. Well, I had a diamond ring sitting on my. Where the hell did it go? Yeah.
Right.
I had a stack of cash on my dresser.
Had a diamond ring.
Yeah. Well,
it happens.
It could happen. It's never happened to me, thankfully, but I've heard horror stories.
No, I've heard horror stories myself, and it's a big liability going into somebody's home alone. You know, just going in there is a huge.
You're right. I mean, you know, you could be accused of anything. And I had a recent case here that I helped a neighbor. I didn't know them, but they literally live up around the corner from me. And I was supposed to go over one night. The husband and wife, they're probably in their mid-30s. They had a young son that was about 1.5 years old. And a couple hours before I was going to go over there, the wife called me and said that her husband got called into work. She goes, but you can still come over. I said, you know what, Sarah? I said, you know, why don't we reschedule? not comfortable coming over if your husband's not home. She didn't know me from Adam, and she was very appreciative of that. My wife won't even answer the door if she doesn't know who it is, if I'm not home. Unfortunately, it's the world we live in.
I don't even answer the phone if I don't know who it is.
Well, well, yeah. I mean, it's probably a bill collector in my case, but we can talk about that later.
That's another show.
And it turned out to be really nothing. She did have what I believe it was a spirit there, but I believe it was her grandmother that had recently passed, and it was there visiting the child, the baby, and I gave her a bunch of advice. I said, just walk around your home and just talk to your grandmother like you're talking to her, like she's in front of you. And just ask her to, thank you for everything. I got this. You're scaring the baby. So, and it worked, I guess, because she said everything's fine. The activity basically stopped. And I didn't really do anything. I just gave her some advice, and she did the work. You got to make them do the work.
Yes, that's
it's
excellent advice.
I'm sorry, guys. I get wordy here.
But it's like stuff.
Joe's soapbox. We'll change the name of the show.
He's on a tangent.
You give them the tools and the strength and the guidance, and they actually, you give them the confidence. You can do this. I'm not doing anything. You're actually doing the work. And then when they realize that, their fear seems to melt away. And that's our payment, to see their faces and like, I haven't slept like this in months. I'm at peace now. That's the payment that we get.
Absolutely.
It's immeasurable. It's immeasurable.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't put a price tag on that. You really can't. And it's priceless. And just to help them, to counsel them, to kind of talk them down because they're terrified, we're their last resort. And they can't turn to anybody. But the problem with it is the weekend entertainment stuff, the Friday night. A lot of these people watch these damn shows, and they think, oh, well, how come you're not doing it like they did there? Well, it's because that took 4 hours. This doesn't. We're going to be here a little while.
I'd be as rich as Zach if I had $1 for every time someone said, that's not how Zach does it.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite line.
Those things raise awareness and so forth. I get it. I mean, when I started doing this stuff, those shows weren't around. It was, you didn't even talk about it. If you told your neighbor, what? You do what? They have it was so taboo back then. Now it's readily available. Everybody can go on YouTube, watch some how-to videos that are, some are good, some are really bad. So hopefully they can use their common sense, which is kind of becoming a paid commodity.
Common sense, Todd, is it's not common anymore. That's the problem with that.
They're going to start selling it in the pharmacy.
They'd make a killing.
Yeah.
You can't get training from television.
You can't.
By watching these TV shows. Look, some of them are very well done. But if the target of the show is to provide you with entertainment, then
entertainment,
they're good. But people watch these things and then like, oh, I could do that. I had a guy walk up to me after a lecture one time, and he had his ABC Paranormal T-shirt. On the back of the shirt, you guys have probably heard this before. On the back of the shirt, it said investigations 100% free. And he comes up to me. They were very nice and respectful, but they came up and like, yeah, we're with ABC Paranormal. We do what you do. I'm like, okay. I said, first of all, you don't do what I do. I said, I didn't mean to insult him, and I hope I didn't, but, I said, let me give you, I could have just stood there all night and said, let me give you a couple of scenarios. Here's a scenario, blah, blah, blah. What would you do? I just get this blank look on their face. I go, I don't know. It's like, well, we go to the cemetery with a Ouija board. I'm like, whoa. Why would you do that? I don't know. Can't fix stupid.
And I hear it all the time with my degree, because people will ask me, where'd you get your degree? What is it about? Why did you go through it? And then I talk to them about it. And I always talk Dr. Kelly up because he's absolutely amazing. And he still even answers my calls when I call him. And I've been out of the school for 5 years now. And there, one guy responded, well, I don't feel I need a degree to ghost hunt. And I simply politely, I probably pissed him off because I think he blocked me, but I politely responded, I don't think, I don't ghost hunt. I research. And that's what my degree is for. No, you don't need one to ghost hunt.
No. And that's the big difference. Mm-hmm. I like how you put it, Heather, with paranormal enthusiasts.
Yep.
And it's cool. They're their own bunch, their own niche, their own genre, however you want to do it. Don't mix the two, because somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt. You're going into someone's home. This is some serious business. This isn't a cemetery with a Ouija. This is serious business.
Yeah, you're messing with people's emotions.
Exactly.
And their lives. Yep. And people are looking to you for answers because they truly are terrified. And they're trusting you. And then how many times have you heard of a group going in and something happens and they take off? They get scared and they leave. And then
I had members of my own team take off once.
And it's all stirred up.
I had members of my own team take off.
Wow.
And then they ghost the client. Then they ghost them. They won't return their phone calls. They claim that something happened. They caught it on video, but they won't give them a copy of it. And then, the next day you look up on Facebook or YouTube and they still got their stuff up there. They're still trying to get more cases. And I'm like,
yeah. And they're sharing the videos they wouldn't share with the client.
True.
Yeah, but I mean, something will happen. There was a case out of Rhode Island where this team was in there investigating, and they said that a can of caviar was sitting on the counter and the can just exploded inexplicably. And I'm like, okay, were there any witnesses to it? Well, no, we heard it. I said, did you have a camera on it? A video camera? Was it recorded? No.
Did you take photos after?
It didn't happen.
Yeah,
if there's no evidence of it, then it didn't happen. I said, maybe the thing overheated and exploded, but that doesn't mean, and that was the only thing that happened, but that's what scared them off. And they wouldn't return the guy's phone calls. So finally, I got a hold of the woman that was the case manager because she quit. She was disgusted with the way they did it. And I said, well, I'm trying to help this family. Can you give me some information? She told me everything, because she wanted these people to get some help. The guy sent me, maybe 50 videos, and most of them were dust orbs, and some of them were like light rods. But you know what it was? It was spider web. In the light of the infrared camera, the spider web was just like moving around, and I'm like, that's just a cobweb or a spider web. And I just couldn't believe that these people actually thought this was evidence. I don't know. But then I said to this woman, I said, well, I think it's a great thing that you got away from these people. I said, but do they still have their site up? Oh yeah, they're still doing cases. I said, no, what they should do is close down all their accounts and go stick their head under a rock. I said, because they're an embarrassment to themselves and to, the good people out there are trying to do good work. I just get fired up about stuff like that. I mean, my sense of humor, but stuff like that just
that all reminds me of
more fear.
Right. And that reminds me of a topic we brought up yesterday. Is one question that we had discussed on the show that I had last night was with the way the paranormal is going, and you have a lot of these amateur teams and the thrill seekers that are going out and, wreaking havoc with trying to do residentials. The government eventually is going to have to step in because this is harming people. What do you guys think of like almost government oversight? Like, like you have to register as a massage therapist, having actual paranormal teams register and get certified, and, educating the public that, hey, you need to make sure, you need to check X, Y, and Z before you let them in your home like you would an exterminator.
I think it'd weed out a lot of dirt bags.
I mean, they can still go do their own thing at like Waverly or, anything like that. But, as far as residentials,
it's serious business. I mean, it really is. And it, if you look at the other communities, if you look at the UFO community, they have regulations, they have rules, they're organized, there's less drama. You look at the metaphysical community, they're funded, they're good, they're quick, they have organization as well. You know, you look at the ghost community, we're here, there, bam, bouncing around all over the place. You have these people, and there's no place to put them. There's no there's just so much going on with it. It's so disorganized that we're even splitting from each other. You've got the para-unity side, then you have it's crazy. It's a huge clique.
On para-unity.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. Para-unity.
Oh,
I don't. I mean, I know. What
it means I have to support you, even though you're stupid.
It makes me laugh.
Sorry, send the hate mail to me. You guys know where to find me.
I mean, look, if somebody wants to do a public ghost hunt or something, I think that's fun. It's for fun. Okay, we got this abandoned building, or maybe it's a restaurant or a hotel that's alleged to be haunted. But I mean, you can't, converge on the place with 50, 100 people and do an investigation. But it's just for what? It's a money-making thing. Look, I mean, it's not against the law, but kind of makes a mockery out of the work that we try to do. When someone's in their home and they're having something happen and they're scared, you'd think you'd want the best person for the job out there, not just some thrill seeker that's looking for something to put up on his YouTube channel. Most of the stuff I've gotten over the years, I have nothing but my own Facebook page. I'm working on a website, but Heather, you got to help me with that. But
I got to help you with your book.
I know.
do everything for you. You don't pay me enough.
I'm pacing myself.
Oh, okay.
Pacing myself.
I'm pacing myself. All right, we're gonna finish that outline.
I was gonna say, do you realize in the last week I've created 15 journals for people to buy and also finished a book?
That's right.
Good for you, Heather.
Good for you.
And here's Joe still working on his outline. No.
Look, if I could get up in the morning, brush my teeth, and take a pee, I'm not proud. I'm amazed.
Remember how to tie your shoes.
I got the kind that you just slip your feet in.
Nicole said she finished her 14th book.
I know, she's way ahead of me.
Making me jealous.
Wow.
I'm slowly catching up, Nicole, but she writes some good stories. I helped her out and I wrote the foreword to her 13th book.
Cool.
And yeah, that was a really good story.
I'm working on it. I got so much to put in it. How long is this book going to be? Maybe I do a series. Who knows? Like Zane Grey or something. I don't know. Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, make it like that. Joe's Adventures.
I mean, I've got plenty of stories, but the difference between what I write about and what these other clowns do is mine's true. These are things that actually happen. I'm not talking about you.
These other clowns.
Well, maybe I am. No, I'm not. But yeah, I mean, it's like when I lecture, I tell people, I said, look, I'm going to share some stories with you of when I worked with Ed and Lorraine, and then I'll share some stories of when I worked with other people or by myself. But I'm not going to make stuff up. I'm like, yeah, I spent three weeks in this guy's house and nothing happened. And he's telling me purple monkeys are flying out of his closet every night. Then I look over on the dresser and it looks like a pharmacy, Seriously, that's a true story. And the guy's like, I don't know why. You guys are here. Nothing's happening. He goes, every night I go to bed and I got the closet doors open and all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God.
You figure out what he's taking, let me know, because I could use some of that.
I want to see some purple monkeys.
I could write some amazing stories off of that.
It'll make the creative juices just flow. And then the purple monkeys came out.
Well, I mean, it's like you make all these outlandish claims and, you don't want to make fun of him. I mean, maybe he really is seeing purple monkeys, but they're not really there. You're seeing something that's not there. I don't accuse people really of making stuff up, but they may, in their mind, believe this is true. They may believe they have a paranormal issue when they don't. And one of the first questions I ask them is, do you watch these TV shows? Do you got a lot of these movies? And we watch them all. They're great. I'm like, okay. So, now I got a foundation to build on. I'm like,
see, now that would make a great story is if he believes enough, because I mean, their pain is real. I get that. And I'm not trying to make light of it, but in this field, we got to have some fun, but he's so focused on these purple monkeys that what if he self-manifests it in the form of a tulpa?
Bingo.
And he really does have purple monkeys running around his house eventually.
Well, then capture one and we'll be millionaires.
Exactly.
like the poltergeist phenomenon too.
Mhm.
A lot of that is stress generated, perhaps, or there's all kinds of different.
Psychokinesis.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of self-manifesting out there. And the thing is, you try to explain that to people and like, no. I'm like, well, if you know more than I do, what'd you call me for? They disagree with you. They'll just say, no, that's not it. It's really happening. This. And then you look over at the spouse or the kids or whatever, and they're like, oh, they're nuts. I don't see anything. I'm like, all right, well, no, they're not, they're not making it up, but look, have you had a full psychological workup?
Right.
I mean, we require
and it's so hard not to sound cocky when they say, no, you're wrong. And it's like, okay, 35 years in the paranormal field and we've done how many cases?
You're right. I always say, be
it's
kind,
tough.
be gentle, and be humble. Stay humble.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, look, I never would profess to know everything. That would be totally irresponsible and egotistical of me. I don't know everything, but I've been around.
Mm-hmm.
I know a little bit. But if you know better than I do, then why'd you call me? I mean, it's almost like you got to do more investigating before you decide to take a case, because that's your time, and you're not charging them for your time, and we're happy to do it if you've really got a problem, or if you don't have a problem, if they'll at least have an open mind to listen to you and say, you know what, you're hearing the scratching, but look, I found a hole. You got raccoons in your wall or something, or a squirrel. Mm-hmm. There's a natural explanation for what's going on. As long as they have an open mind for that, and think, oh, you're right. Oh, stupid me. No. Hey, look, we figured it out. That's great. But it's the people that stand there like, they have an excuse for everything you tell them, or or they have a counter to every explanation you might offer them. And I'm like, you say to yourself, what am I doing here? If you're not going to listen to me, or at least, you hear me, but you're not listening. They've already made up their mind. Like you said before, well, Zach said this. Or on this episode of, Ghost Adventures or whatever show. And I'm like, well, that's not reality.
Yeah.
But it's on the internet. Well, then it must be true.
I mean,
it's not on the internet.
Give you an example of the teams and how, like you said, the base readings, false positives and things. My daughter was she would wake up in the middle of the night and see things. She was having these weird dreams. It was just really wicked. She thought her place was haunted. So I said, no, it can't be. So I called my buddy here local, and he's been doing this stuff since the 90s. He goes out there, and it's, lo and behold, make a long story short, it's the refrigerator. The EMF the refrigerator was probably 1970 something. It was old and putting out God knows what. And she wasn't. And so until they got the refrigerator, she moved her bed. Nothing's going on. It all stopped. She's not seeing these things. She's not having wicked dreams. She's not feeling sick anymore. All that because of what the refrigerator was putting out, which the way the house was built, the fridge was here, the bed was here.
Yep.
So they were real close to each other.
How high were the readings, Todd? Do you remember?
Oh my goodness, they were off the charts. These things, he went in there. I don't remember the actual readings, but he used a tri-field and it
pegged.
It pegged.
Yeah.
And
that's a perfect example.
The big
I had
compressor.
a similar case, but it was a microwave putting out like 80 milligauss. I'm like, oh my God. Of course that could cause problems.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, unless you have that knowledge, I mean, yeah, we can have these tools, but if you don't understand what they do and how to use them properly, then they're no use to you.
And
take it out of the how many of you guys out there don't read instructions? I know how to do this. I'm a man's man. I can do this.
Bad about that.
They're going, you're not doing it right. Read the instructions. I got this. And then I shocked myself.
So are you going to read the instructions to the Ouija board I bring to the event?
Oh, yeah. You know what? We should have no, I'm going to say. I would say we should have
I said we should do a live seance during the presentation.
I mean,
they're interesting.
We could do it safely.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know one person who'd crap his pants if we did.
What's that?
I said I know one person who'll crap his pants if we did.
Who's that?
Your partner in crime who will be coming to the event.
Oh, well, we won't talk about that. In Florida, we will.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Dana last week said that if we do it, she wants us to record it.
We can. Well, I mean, we can do that. All right, Todd, are you going to the Phantasm?
Oh, I wish.
I wish you were going. I thought you were in Florida for some reason, but you're in Illinois.
I was. I lived there for almost 6
okay.
years, but moved back up here to escape the humidity, only to go into the humidity. So I really didn't escape it at all. I miss it. I miss parts of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Heather, we could do stuff like. I mean, we could do. We could do a. Well, it's too late to put a panel up, isn't it, for something like that?
No, I could talk to Bill and get us in.
Maybe we could do a panel on divination practices.
Okay.
And Ouija board, and what do you use? Divining rods and crystals.
I use pendulums. I actually have pendulum boards that I use.
I can get some learn from you because I know of them, but pendulums and stuff, I really don't know how to use them. To be honest with you,
they're interesting little pieces.
I know enough to keep me out of jail, but
yeah,
I don't. I'm smart enough to not play with fire, not play with things I don't understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Nicole, if we do, I will record it live and share it.
We could do it live, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And my dad made a tripod for me to put my phone on to record the panels while we're doing them.
Oh, cool.
So I just got to clear all the crap off my phone so there's enough memory on it.
I mean,
then there's that.
With all the fun that we have, we could, like even with this program, I want it to be educational. I mean, we want to educate people that will listen.
The thing is, Joe, I don't think a lot of people want to listen. They don't want to take the time these days. This generation that's here is so fast and now, and they want it now. It has to be now, and it has to be filmed. It has to be, there has to be a crew. And that's not how it is.
You're right. Yeah. No, they don't have patience anymore. People today don't want to put in the 37 or 35 or 40 years. They want instant notoriety and fame, and they don't care whose coattails they have to ride to get it. And,
yep.
They want.
And it's sad.
So we didn't have social media way back in the day. We didn't. The internet didn't exist until what, 1995, 6? Is that when the internet came out? I mean, we didn't have any of that, and we had Polaroid cameras. And I'm dating myself now. It's one of the first cameras I ever used was a Polaroid.
Yeah, it never captured any orbs. Just saying. I mean, it just didn't.
But
film.
I don't know. I just shake my head. I call them thrill seekers. That's or enthusiasts or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're not misrepresenting yourself to get in someone's house. And now you're like, then the stuff hits the fan. Something does happen that you can't explain, and you soil yourself, and you run out of the house. Or
exactly.
I've had people say they couldn't get out of here fast enough, and I haven't heard from them since. And that was like 3 weeks ago. And they won't return calls or emails or whatever. But yet, you go on their podcast, and they're still taking cases and stuff.
Yeah, they're not learning from the mistakes they make. They're not.
Because they don't want to learn.
Right.
They already know all the answers.
They know everything. You can't convince them otherwise. It's like talking to a brick wall. And my goodness, I know my kids are millennials. I know. So, I mean, it's tough. It's tough because they live in that electronic world, that digital world, to where it's so instant. The gratification is instant, like you said, and it is. It's hard to get through their heads. And I wish that they would just grab onto a veteran researcher and just talk to him for a half an hour. Hey, what did you do back in the day? How did this start? Who are these people? They don't even understand they call them Class A's, and they don't even know where the hell that originated.
Right.
You know, they don't understand the pioneers that came through and brought it over here, you know, to begin with back in the day. It's all, oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? You know, it's that all night long. And that's frustrating to me. It's like, shh, quiet. You know, just stay quiet. You know, and there's a time and a place for fun. Absolutely. My God, this field, we're dealing with dead people. Of course it's going to be a little depressing at times, but have a little fun, but be serious when you have to be too.
And be respectful.
Absolutely. Respect is key.
You know, I mean, you know, we learn differently than people are learning today. And we want to educate the people that want to listen to us. You know, and I say, listen, I come from a Roman Catholic background and religion, but I respect all other religious beliefs. You know, you may have learned a totally different way than I do, but you reach the same goal. You know, and you know, I mean, we're all different. That's what makes us individuals. But what I don't tolerate is disrespect, and I'm not necessarily saying people disrespecting me, but the disrespect of one another in the field. You know, it's always like people are jockeying for position. Look at me syndrome, I call it. You know, and that's why for many years I didn't go to these Paracons. You know, because it's like, okay, I'm gonna set up a table and share my pictures and my bumper stickers and all this stuff. But when I started doing them, I said, wow, these are fun, and you're meeting people with other ideas, and you're learning from them as much as they're learning from you. And I'm like, wow, I should have done this years ago. So I kind of had the wrong idea about them. I had it made up in my mind that they were just for show, and now I actually enjoy them. You know,
and when you go to those events, the people there want to learn.
Right.
And there are a lot of good people like us that want to do good work. You know, we're certainly not the only ones, but they kind of get lost in that, what I call this big noise of, you know, paranormal researchers. And that term's just thrown around like,
it's so loose now. It really is.
On the camera, I'm a paranormal researcher now. Those are people that kind of get in trouble. And I'm not talking trouble with the law. Well, they might if they're breaking into abandoned buildings and trespassing, but they get themselves in trouble spiritually. You know, if they do stumble upon something and they're not prepared to deal with it.
Yep.
You know, I mean, okay, it's like, all right, you went into this person's home. There is something there. Now, what are you prepared to do about it?
Yeah.
What was your goal? Just to get something on camera or film or audio, and then take off and ghost them, and then use that, you know, for your personal gain or monetary gain, which I think is disgusting. But
for more likes, for more subscribers,
stars, whatever. I don't know what is
stars.
I don't know what that means, but I'm old. What do I know?
What they don't understand is the networks aren't looking for people to reach out to them for shows. The networks are, you know, documentarians and the network television shows. They're actively watching social media.
Yeah.
And they watch how people present themselves. I know when I've been reached out to, you know, be in the documentary, they loved how we presented ourselves. And we weren't, you know, in your face. It was just, here's what we captured, here's what we did, and here's how we suggest you should do things. And we were more about educating people than, you know, in your face type of thing. And, you know, they're watching. And when these people go out there and do the yelling and the, you know, what they see on TV, that's not what these producers are looking for anymore.
No, but it is, at the end of the day, it's about ratings, because ratings equates to dollars, and that's where you get the entertainment. Look, you know, if it's for entertainment purposes, then say it is.
Yeah, it's about selling ads.
Say it is. I mean, people love this stuff. I've had people approach me and say, Joe, I love what you do. I'm fascinated by what you do, but I would never want to be a part of it myself. I had someone ask me 2 weeks ago. They said, by me coming to this lecture, I'm not going to have anything follow me home, am I? I'm like, no.
As long as you don't touch Annabelle.
Yeah. Well, Annabelle, all right, she's back there. She's
well, like you said, a lot of these shows are made very well. Yeah. They're very well put together. I mean, I narrate one of the things, but yet I don't see them taking the hours and hours and weeks sometimes it takes to build a case, work a case, get to know the client, do more than one investigation, go back and forth until you reach some kind of conclusion so you can share it with them, for crying out loud. These people are lost. I mean, some of my past clients I've had, my goodness, they and you got to be careful with them too. You've got to interview these people extensively. You've got to ask questions. You've got, because you're taking care of yourself too, and the team. You know, some of these people are shit crazy, and you're going into their home. We had a guy come after us with a shotgun one night, for crying out loud. He said, "You guys can find ghosts, but you can't find my cat." Drunk off his keister, and because he was, and of course you pull the team out in a case like that. But it's, you don't know what you're going to go into, and a lot of these enthusiasts are going to get, they're going to crap down their leg. You know, they're going to come to a point where it's not safe. It's just not safe. And hopefully, I don't know, hopefully it just kind of balances out and they go do their thing, hunt, whatever they do. I just, the whole field has been tarnished, in my opinion, and I'm hoping it comes back together, but it's been tarnished in a way to where it's almost hard to repair. I mean, it would take,
out of control.
Yeah, it's way out of
beyond
control.
the point of, no return. But I mean, it's just too much money in it. There's too much money in the industry. I mean, I'm broke because of it. I don't charge people. I mean, and people that can't even afford to pay my expenses, I'm like, say, well, I'm not coming then. We find a way.
Yeah, you find a way.
I mean, I am not a rich man by any means, but, one thing that I have is my integrity, and that's not for sale.
It's not for sale.
I've always said that. My dad taught me that. It's like I have to wake up in the morning, look myself in the mirror, and I have to like what I see. How many people can say that?
Yeah.
How many people can say that? They'll make up evidence. They'll fabricate stuff. I mean, I could lie with the best of them if I wanted to, but you get caught faking one piece of evidence or lying once, there goes, 37 years of integrity down the drain?
Right.
You'll never get that back.
No, you can't.
Never get that back. So why risk it? If somebody asks me a question, I don't know the answer, I look at them and say, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. Let me look it up, or let me find out, or let me ask a colleague of mine that may know. I'm not afraid to say I don't know, but some people are. They're know-it-alls, and they have all the answers, and somehow convince and lie and cheat their way onto a TV show or something, and then they're famous.
Yeah, they make the rabbit hole even deeper.
Oh, I was on the Travel Channel show, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so what? Never heard of you.
Exactly.
So what? I got a face for radio. We all know that.
And that goes hand in hand with the teams that fake evidence just to make their clients happy. Because we had that one team busted here in Florida.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Look how easy it is.
And that could do more harm than good.
Yep.
You've got Canva, Photoshop, all these video tools now, AI.
Yeah.
You can type in this stuff and it'll create a ghostly voice for you.
Right.
Man.
Yeah.
So you don't know, if somebody sends you something for review, you don't know if it's bogus or not because you weren't there.
Yeah. They could be really good at fabricating something. They could fool us.
That's where you ask for the EXIF information.
Yep. And I miss old things like film. It was probably in this field one of the most tangible things was the film, because you can't mess with a negative. A negative is a negative.
Right.
And today everything's digital and it's so easy to manipulate it into whatever you want it to be. So you just don't know anymore.
Recently came across, I don't know if you can see them, but some old photos. There's Ed in the Rain on a case we did over 30 years ago.
Wow.
And I got the negatives. I mean, I've been cleaning out my basement, and I found more and more of this stuff. Stuff that I haven't seen since they were taken, probably. And I'm like, wow. I'm hoping if I can find some, Heather, I'll bring some pictures with me to
Mhm.
show you. But like you said, you can't fake that. Digital anything, digital Photoshop, all that stuff. Have you guys ever been accused of photoshopping something? No.
Yep.
Yes. I mean, that happened to me once 15 years ago at a lecture in Danbury, Connecticut. I remember there was a guy, and he was full of himself. This guy in the audience, I was showing a picture on the screen that I had taken, but I hadn't told them that yet. And I showed the screen and said, "Oh, what do you folks think about this picture?" Now, I'm not going to stand there and say this is a spirit. I don't know what it is. I'd be irresponsible, but nobody knows.
Mhm.
But it was an interesting photo I had taken at an old abandoned theater in Norwalk, Connecticut. And the guy's like, "Well," he goes, "I'm a photographer. I've been a photographer for 25 years, and I can tell that's been altered. That's a fake picture." And my friend I was lecturing with, I look at him, and he was a hothead, and I'm like, "I got this." I said, "Calm down." And I said, "Sir," I said, "You know what? Thank you very much for the compliment because I took the photo." I said, "And as smart as I think I am, I don't know how to use these Photoshop tools." I said, "So that picture is 1,000% genuine." I said, "I'm not telling you it's a spirit or a ghost." I said, "But what is it? There's nothing in the photos before or after it. And all of a sudden this just showed up on so, I mean, I shut the guy down, but I tried to be polite, but he saw I was a little angry or a little aggravated, I should say.
Frustrated.
Up after the show and apologized profusely. I said, "Look, I am not opposed to dissenting opinions." I said, "But be respectful." I said, "The way you went about it was very disrespectful, I thought, in front of a crowded room of people." And then people were starting to get on the guy, like, "Hey, shut up. We're not here to listen to you." And I'm like, "No, don't start fighting here." But, I didn't appreciate the way he asked it. I said, "If you have a different opinion, that's fine. I respect that." I said, "But respect me and respect mine."
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that was really the one and only time I could think that something like that has happened. But when I was with Ed and Lorraine and they would be lecturing, there was a lot of people that would be disrespectful to them. Sometimes they'd have too much to drink. People would come in intoxicated if they were doing a lecture at that many times go to like a Holiday Inn and rent a room, a meeting room.
Mm-hmm.
So people would wander in from the bar or whatever, and this is all bull, and I'd be like, Ed would just look at me and go, "Joe, take care of this guy." And I'd just go over there and say, "Look, be respectful, or I'm gonna have to ask you to leave." I was very influential, but I used to see them go through that, and it didn't happen every time, but I just respect to me is paramount in this field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I respect other people, and I would like them to respect me, but kids today, and I say kids because I'm old now, but kids today, they're not respectful.
No.
A lot of them, not everyone. They're not respectful.
It's rare.
To their elders. Look at this. I just read about a 19-year-old kid beat up a 67-year-old woman that was doing Uber Eats, trying to make ends meet.
Oh my!
He jumps in her car. She tries to grab him, and he beats her half to death. They caught him, and I hope he goes away till he's gray. But I mean, the disrespect today. I'm sorry, I get off on a tangent.
No,
it really bothers me, and that goes with anything, just general in life. But in this field, I just shake my head and disappointed. And I like to stick my head under a rock myself, and don't want to be involved in any of it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, I've left it for years. I took a long hiatus, and it was about 3.5 years away from everything because it got so bad. The drama was so bad. There was no one was doing anything. I mean, our ultimate goal is to discover the afterlife.
Yeah.
Is this real? Is this really going on? And there's too many clicks. There's too many this. There's no teamwork really anymore. And we need that. We have to have that. We've got to, I think, reboot the entire system and try this again. I mean, when's the last time you can think of a major breakthrough? I can't remember any major breakthroughs as of late.
That's because we're not doing anything new.
Exactly. It's who has what and how much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about what you have instead of what you're capable of, what you can do in your experience.
Yeah.
And of course, respect is gone. That's tossed out the window. That's going to take some severe hammer and nails to fix.
Mm.
But it's the damage that we're leaving behind. And what saddens me is it was our generation that raised this generation coming in. These people are going to be taking over.
Yeah.
What the hell did we do wrong? Or was it just the world that did it? I don't know. But there has to be some major change. And I love this community. I really do. I love it with all my heart. I mean, it welcomed me in when no one else would. But it needs a lot of work. It really does.
It's become part of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interwoven in the fabric of my being. I mean, I've been doing this longer than 18 years old. I mean, my entire adult life. And you're right. It just seems to be getting worse and worse. And I'm trying, because I've said this before, I'm almost the age now that the Warrens were when I met them. And all I want to do is help people and pass on my knowledge. I'm not trying to say, I know everything.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't do that. But I'm like, well, I'd like to pass on what I do know and share it with my colleagues, and they can share what they know. And together, that's what I call unity, is together if we're all working towards the common goal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the almighty dollar. I mean, that's the root of all evil. But yeah, everybody needs money to survive and to live, but
sure.
How much is enough?
I mean, if you can remember back when all of this media attention and everything and the social media came about, this was a great community. Everybody helped each other. We got together when the internet surfaced. We had emails, forums, chat rooms, things that were stuck on the internet, and there's still some out there, but these days everything is crazy fast and it has to be filmed. You have to have a massive, if you don't have a production crew, well, your team's no good. If you don't have a good videographer, and it's not people on the teams back then, they didn't have to compete with all this stuff. It's so saturated. It's everywhere. It's gone viral. Everybody loves going out there and getting scared. And it's not about just getting scared. Sure, your adrenaline, when you see an apparition, sure, your adrenaline goes a little up. It's fight or flight.
Yeah.
Most people, but it's how you've got to, convince yourself, look, I'm in this field. I may see something I can't explain. I may experience something I can't explain. I don't know what I'm going to do until I'm put in that situation. Well, when you're put in that situation and you run, you may need to rethink where you're at because you've been spending all this time, trying to figure out life after death. And when you're confronted with that answer, you kind of got to face it. I mean, you have to face it. And it's tough sometimes because it's creepy. There's some, when you have furniture moving, things getting thrown at you and so forth, things flying across the room. Look, there's you have to know when to fold them as well and refer out. And a lot of these teams aren't referring out. Like you said earlier, Joe, they're coming in and taking over and then just leaving with everything, leaving the client going, huh? They don't know. They're none the wiser. And it's just, it's a terrible system. We need to kind of regroup it.
And their egos won't allow them to admit that they don't know enough and reach out to someone else. And they're very, very protective of their cases. It's like, well, this is our case.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, it's your case. But if you need help and you're not sure what you're doing, maybe I can help you. I'm not trying to take your case from you. Is that what's important here, the case, or helping this family?
Exactly.
I never understood that, but there are people like that.
Yep.
And then on the other side of the coin, I've had people say, Joe, we could really use your help. we want to help this family, but we don't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, I'll help you. And then I do my thing to help them, and I go away. I'm not looking for any fanfare or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if that family's at peace and they're happy now, that makes me feel so good. No amount of money could equal that feeling. But
Priceless.
it's not like that anymore. It saddens me to think about it. But
even the clients have
take
changed.
a break, guys. We're supposed to do a commercial break or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, ask the producer.
Oh.
Whenever you're ready.
No, whenever you're ready.
I don't want to, but we have to, right?
Yeah, we'll take one here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Looking for a unique paranormal experience? The Haunted Rock Island YMCA Paracon, October 7th, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. is just the event you're looking for. You will have the opportunity to investigate the Haunted Rock Island YMCA with ACG Paranormal. Visit with over 60 paranormal and metaphysical vendors from 8 or more states. And pre-order your t-shirts at dvinar@aol.com. Visit a psychic gallery reading, mediums, tea leaf reading, animal communication, dream interpretation, aura reading, tarot and oracle card readings, or get a Reiki healing. See a demonstration of the Estes method by Carly Bird. Presentations by Nick Simons and Aaron G. Thompson of 28 Days Haunted, Greg Bakken from Ghostbox Radio, and headliner Rick Hayes, along with many folks you'll see on Paraflix. Be sure to like and follow our sponsors: Paraflix, WLTK DB Talk Radio LLC, Studio 6 Productions, Unturned Pages, and Ocean Eye Crystals. General admission is only $5, and all proceeds go directly to the Haunted Rock Island YMCA. For more information on the Haunted Rock Island YMCA Paracon and vendors, look for them on Facebook under Events.
Welcome back, everyone. Joe's busy.
That was needed.
Eating my lollipop.
You
I
got your
filled
bag
my
of
water.
lollipops?
I do. Yeah.
See, and I have my candy dish
I
filled
wish I
with
could share them with you.
Reese's Bats.
Oh, nice. Reese's Bats.
Right? Oh,
Look at
you
the
got your
little boot.
Halloween stuff out already, huh?
Oh yeah, I've fully decorated for Halloween.
Yeah. Well, this is
My
kind
little-
of my
Yeah, Sherry got October.
my Halloween / lighthouse room.
Oh,
I
that
love my
is
lighthouse.
so cool.
Mm.
That's neat.
And we have decorations throughout the whole house. It's
Good. Because tomorrow's September. To me, that's kind of
Oh,
the
that's right.
pre-opener.
September
Mhm.
1st. Is that the official Halloween kickoff? September 1st?
I've been
think-
decorated for a couple weeks.
Fall's my favorite time of year.
Oh, I love it.
I love that time of year. And of course, October, it's always fun.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
love.
just-
Nothing beats New England in the fall, though.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I do love that about New England. I'm going to New Hampshire the weekend before Thanksgiving, doing a presentation up in the North Conway Scenic Railroad.
Ooh.
Up there was built in like 1874, I think.
Oh,
Beautiful building. They said that the staff there has told me a lot of stories of they've actually seen apparitions and things. Nothing bad. There's a ghost car, they call it, one of the Pullman train cars. They said they've seen apparitions in it. It used to belong to Robert Todd Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln's son.
really?
and it's been used. You ever see like Teddy Roosevelt in the back of the train on this platform speaking? It has a platform like that.
Oh,
So
wow.
we sat in there for 2 or 3 hours, my wife and I, with the gentleman from the railroad, and just chatting. I put some recording devices out and everything. Didn't get any evidence really, but a couple of weird things happened that were kind of unexplainable. But didn't rush to say it was a ghost, but it was fascinating. And then the next day before the lecture, the next day was a Saturday. It was a beautiful sunny day, and they took us on a 4.5 hour train ride through the White Mountains, through the Presidential Range. And it was beautiful because all the leaves were down, so you could see the white caps in Mount Washington and Mount Jefferson. It was just beautiful. It was 4.5 hour round trip.
Wow.
Train ride. And we were in one of the dining cars, and it was beautiful. It was just amazing. Just the history behind it. And so I learned a ton about that. So, and then Saturday night when we got back, there was a golf course next door that allowed them to use their big dining room, and had about 100 people, and did a presentation for them there, and it was just fascinating. I just love to do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The history.
Just the history. I'm a big history buff. I love anything that has to do with history. Because I just soak it up like a sponge.
There's so much of it.
That stuff is a lot of fun. I mean, it's not always about ghosts and everything. It's just about the history of the building or
the land.
The land, but they had some interesting stories. So I brought a couple of the employees up and let them tell their stories to the audience of what they saw, or whatever. And when we were there, they had all the radios were charging, and a couple of the radios while we were there clicked. Like, you could hear the repeater, and the guy from the station was like freaking out because like that's never happened before.
Ooh.
I said, well, maybe there's people. I said, are there any employees that have radios that they take home? And he's like, no, they're all here. And I'm like, well, maybe there's somebody's cutting into your frequency or something. I'm just looking for all kinds of natural explanations.
98%.
And I'm sure it was, but he was just freaking out because he's like, I've worked here for like 12 years. That's never happened. I'm like, well, maybe I have that effect on him. I don't know.
It's the spirits attached to you.
Possibility.
Nobody wants to be attached to me. Not even you. But that was so much. That was fun. We're going back this year. We do the weekend before Thanksgiving because they have to wait for their fall foliage season to end because it's a huge tourist attraction. And the every day they have trains that go through the mountains that people see the foliage. So we had to wait until after that was all over with. So like the second or third week of November, which worked for me because Octobers are usually our busiest time. So that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a public ghost hunt.
Yes, because you love those.
Well, no, I don't mind them. It's just that, I mean, do you guys not agree? You can't do a proper investigation with 50 people around.
A little tough.
No, I mean,
all the flashes
and it goes from floor to floor, and you learn about the history of the place. Like one place I want to visit is the Whaley House out in where is that? San Diego.
A buddy of mine used to run tours out of there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've heard a lot about it and seen the stuff on television, but I've never been out there.
Yeah, it's
Alcatraz,
pretty active.
My bucket list. I'd like to see. But who knows? I mean, it used to be a gallows, I guess, and could there be energy? Yeah, sure there can, but who knows?
Yeah, the Whaley House.
The whole history of it is awesome.
Yep.
There's so many great places out there, and a lot of them we can't get back into anymore, but some of them they charge so much these days to get in there, it's ridiculous, and you don't know if that's all hype or what. Or I've heard tales of certain locations that have people hiding in there during these paid investigations. They hide in there and try and scare them and stuff. So you never know what you're going to run into.
Mm-hmm.
It could all be crap out there. We don't know. I don't know.
It's like the St. Augustine Lighthouse. They charge $5,000 a night.
Son of
What?
And when you ask, they're like, we were on Ghost Hunters.
Who cares? Do you serve breakfast or dinner?
I know.
Do something for $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding? It's $5,000 a night.
That's what they told me when I reached out to them to do a book signing. I want to do a book signing and a paranormal investigation after, and they said it's $5,000.
So people approach them to investigate the lighthouse,
Mm-hmm.
and it's $5,000.
Yep, that's why nobody really investigates it. Yeah, some people do, but I know Philip. He comes down and he knows the person who runs the tours. And he actually will go into the basement, and he's been told as long as nobody's down there, you can do something, but not a full-blown investigation. So he'll do some quick photos and EVPs and videos if nobody's down there. But to do the whole location, it's $5,000 a night.
I don't want to buy the lighthouse.
Yeah. What is that, a down payment?
Yeah, no. See, on principle alone, I'd be like, you're crazy. I'm not interested. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love lighthouses, and if they're haunted, that's a bonus. But I'm a big lighthouse aficionado.
I love lighthouses too, but if I'm going to pay $5,000, it better be a timeshare.
No.
You better let me spend the night in the lighthouse keeper's home.
Well,
exactly.
That's like a month's rent.
Yeah.
Even that, $5,000. Wow.
That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy money.
And they're making it hand over fist.
Yep.
Well, I mean, yeah, if they can get it, God bless them. I mean, it's not illegal, but it almost sounds like it should be. $5,000.
It keeps a lot of good people out.
Well, it does. You know who pays that are the networks.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do a filming there. They got the money.
Up here comes a film crew, and that's the thing is it keeps a lot of great people out. There's so many great researchers out there, great people that are in this field, and I mean, I can't come up with that kind of money. I wouldn't pay that kind of money.
No,
I couldn't.
I wouldn't pay it on principle, even if I was wiping my butt with 50s. I wouldn't.
Right. It just doesn't make any sense. It's just, that's astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
It's a deterrent. It keeps people away, I think.
Have you ever heard of the Mark Twain house?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In Hartford, Connecticut here, we have the Mark Twain house, a beautiful piece of property. I haven't been there in a number of years, but years ago, they would not allow investigations because a couple of his children passed away in that house. That doesn't mean it's haunted, but it's just a fascinating, just the history of it is, the bed with cherub end posts that Mark Twain and his wife, Samuel Clemens and his wife actually slept in is there. And I remember asking on a tour once if they allow investigations. I mean, I'm probably like 25, 30 years ago. And they said, no. Well, then there was a TV show that offered them, I think, like $20,000 or something like that. And, oh, yeah, come on in. So money talks, right? We all know that.
Yeah.
So now, through the years, they do let investigators go in there. But I don't know what they charge. But they ain't doing it for free out of the goodness of their heart. And I get it. The money goes to care for the home and keep the property. I get that to a point, but someone like me, I mean, I'd love to do it, but I couldn't afford to pay what they're probably asking.
Yeah, and look at the upkeep. I get it that a lot of these older buildings that people want to investigate, they need a new roof, they need this, but if you look at them, they have all the money in the world to do all the repairs, so they look great. They're good. And then you have places like Broadhead Manor, for example. Bill Walter runs that thing out there, and it leaks through 2 floors, and it has to have constant fundraisers and things to keep it alive. He doesn't charge an astronomical amount to investigate the place, and it's in need of repair. And it is an active location. So it's strange how it's taking over and how it's going that direction.
Well, the golden rule, right? He who has the gold makes the rules. But
unfortunately,
I was kind of disturbed by that because I that's one place on my list I'd really like to investigate because I loved Mark Twain and he's got a rich history here in Connecticut, as well as other states like Missouri. But I mean, I'd like to go back there. I mean, I don't know what the admission is, but it's well worth it. Same thing with lighthouses. There's one lighthouse in Maine. It's actually on the Maine quarter, the Pemaquid Point Light in South Bristol. It's one of my favorites. It's actually one that you could actually go up into the light and take photos and everything.
Rare.
I think it's like, I want to say $5 per car, or it might be $2 a person, which I happily give. I think I gave him like $10 last time, because that money goes to upkeep the grounds and the lighthouse and everything. And then last year, Laurel and I went up in May, and our anniversary is in May. It was our 30th anniversary last year, 2022. And Laurel's talking, there was an older gentleman there that was about to do some painting. He was a volunteer. And, of course, we got to talking to him. He was very nice. And the lighthouse was closed. He was just in there to do some painting inside in the museum. And when he found out it was our anniversary, he's like, well, come on, kids. He goes, I'll let you up. Do you want to go up the light? Laurel just looks at me. She's like, you don't have to ask him twice. So he let us up there. It was really nice. But then a couple of people saw us going in, and they're knocking on the door. And he opened the door, and he's like, well, we're closed. We just, we're volunteers. We're fixing up the place. But I said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to start something, because people thought that he was letting people in. And, of course, they saw us up there. But just the history of it, and Nubble Light, the Cape Nedic Light, which is known as Nubble Light. And I didn't mean to turn this into a lighthouse show, but that in New York, Maine, it's that images of that lighthouse were actually on the Voyager spacecraft, as a testament to man's accomplishments, along with 1,500 other pictures, Taj Mahal, the Great Wall of China. But that particular lighthouse was the only lighthouse that was put on that, which is like how many billion miles away by now?
Yeah.
45 years ago. But again, the history of it all is amazing. And, the Portland headlight that was commissioned by George Washington in 1791 or something like that. And all of them are alleged to have activity, but one of these days I'll get to investigate them. That's what we're going to do, Heather. We're going to do on a lighthouse investigation book tour or whatever.
Exactly. And the Mark Twain House in Key West does allow investigations.
Oh, I didn't even know there was one in Key West.
Yep. His wife is known to haunt that one.
I'll have to check that out when we go down to see Robert. Because I'm going to give him a hug.
Robert the doll.
Robert the doll. Come on. I can't go all the way down to Key West and not hug him.
You got to see Robert. You've got to.
Permission.
You've got to do your thing. Do your due diligence.
If seriously, if they would let me, I would do it. But I think he just needs a little love.
That's probably what it is.
And you'll wake up one morning and he'll be sitting at your front doorstep.
That's all right. I got nothing to fear from Robert. I'm not going to disrespect him.
Sit him right next to Hannibal.
Yeah, they get along famously, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Heather thinks I'm crazy. I am a little bit. Yeah,
That'd
I got a lot of stuff on my bucket list. I want to go to Alcatraz. You ever been to Alcatraz?
Oh, no. That's on mine,
on my
too.
bucket list.
I would love to. I would love to investigate that place.
And then, Chillingham Castle. You remember that show years ago? And the guy's name was something Robeson? And the whole spiel about the show was to get, a family to stay in there overnight. And
yeah.
And I'm sitting here screaming at the TV. I'm like, dude, I'll sleep like a baby in that place. I'm like, I won't go running from the place. I don't care what happens. But I mean, that was what the show was. I think it was hosted by Linda Blair.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I remember it.
Chillingham. That was just one of the castles, but that one stuck out.
I can't remember the name of it, but she hosted it. It was really good. And they did good portraying the history of it too,
Yeah, I mean that was a show I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun because they would mount the cameras on the people so you could see their facial reactions,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like really scared. And these people are like, I don't know, it's just funny.
It was genuine.
But I mean, I'm like, why don't you let somebody that's a real investigator go in there? I'm yelling at the TV.
They just throw them in there and lock them down. And but I like those old shows like In Search Of and things like that.
Oh yeah,
Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah. I mean,
Leonard
even
Nimoy.
Sightings. I like Sightings.
Sightings was a great show
from the early '90s, late '80s, early '90s.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like every network's got a whole host of shows, and some of them are really well done.
They are. You just can't keep up with them.
Well, yeah, and and
you have to weed through to find ones that suit your fancy. Everybody's different, because it is entertainment. And you guys remember the movie years ago called White Noise?
Yeah.
With Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this? We went and saw it at the theaters.
Yeah.
For entertainment, to be entertained and to learn. People were there with notebooks. I kid you not. They were writing things down. I kid you not.
Yeah, it's scary.
It was unreal. And all you can do is just shake your head, move forward,
Wow, notebooks.
Yeah, they were sitting there writing things down in tablets.
Yeah, there's a few movies that I've enjoyed, but I like the movies that are based on a true story, like The Entity. This was a documentary, not a movie, but have you ever heard of the San Pedro haunting? One of Barry Taft's cases from 1989, where Jeff Wheatcraft, the guy, the cameraman, got strung up on a nail in the rafters.
Oh,
they're up there in the ceiling, and he's like, there was no rope or anything. We didn't see any rope. It was completely, empty. And then out of nowhere, there was this rope, and it was tied in like a seaman's knot or something. And he got yanked up and was hanging from a nail. And they had it. They had photos of him, and then they had photos of him coming out of the hole from the attic, and he was terrified. You could tell that was real stuff, but it wasn't a movie, it was a documentary. I watched it again a couple weeks ago. Every once in a while, I'll just get in the mood to watch one of these old things. But I enjoyed The Changeling with George C. Scott.
The Changeling with George C. Scott.
That's not based on a true story, I don't think, but it was very well done.
Scared the crap out of me.
And then
you'd like The Quiet Ones.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I think I saw that.
Yeah, based on the
there's
Philip
two
experiment.
of those, isn't there, Heather?
What was it?
Isn't there two of those, The Quiet Ones?
I think so, but it's based on the Philip experiment that they did.
We should do a show on that and have the audience participate. And, but the movies they make today are just ridiculous. I mean, can you think of a movie that was made recently that was entertaining? I'm trying.
I saw.
I'm
again watching it for entertainment. The Pope's Exorcist on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I just watched it last week.
And
I liked it, but the thing is, I heard that Father Amorth gave his blessing for them to make a movie about his life, but he wanted it to be true to life, realistic, like based on real facts of cases. And that's not what happened. Of course, he's been gone now for 7 years, but it was entertaining. But even the Conjuring movies, I mean, Hollywood just takes so many liberties with this stuff.
Oh my goodness!
And, I talk about this with my colleagues, and I'm like, if you would.
Whoop! Joe froze.
I was gonna say, was it me this time?
Look at that image.
Oh, we gotta take a screenshot of that.
There he is.
I don't know. There was another movie, maybe you've heard of it, called Ghost Story with Fred Astaire. Yeah, look that one up. Douglas Fairbanks Jr., Fred Astaire. I want to say it was from like 1980. It was a good story. I don't think it's based on a true story, but these are top actors in their day. But again, this is before all the hype. Obviously, you got The Exorcist, which was an amazing movie for 1973, was it?
Yeah, 73.
I mean, that was before green screens and all that stuff, the special effects. But again, based on true events that happened to Ron Hunkler, the kid that played with the Ouija board, and that's how it
made up Captain Howdy.
Captain Howdy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then now there's a new one coming out. Believer, Exorcist Believer. That's coming out on Friday, October 13th.
Oh, goodness.
So I'm going to see it, but I think they, Ellen Bernstein's in it.
Huh.
Linda Blair's not. But I mean, it should be interesting. I mean, I'll watch them just because I have to.
Mm-hmm.
The Pope's Exorcist, I just waited for it to come on free because I'm cheap. Or I go to here on Tuesday nights are $5 movie night down the road at the theaters. Laura will
there you go.
Swing by the theater on your way home and pick me up a bucket of popcorn. Loves the popcorn. I'm like, it's more for the popcorn than it is for the movie.
It's like $20 for a bucket of popcorn these days. The movie's like $8 now.
Yeah, they have something called the large combo. You got this garbage can size popcorn, a huge bucket of soda, and a candy, whatever.
Yeah,
it's like
we have a drive-in here in town, and for the three of us, it's less than $20 to get in, and you get 2 movies.
That's nice.
Yeah, wow, and you can bring your own food.
See, now I went to one in down there when I was down there in Florida. Mm-hmm. It was a movie theater that served food.
Mm-hmm.
They would just bring it right to you during the movie. It was kind of distracting a little bit, but yet not so bad.
Yeah.
You had people beside you. You could hear them chewing things, but other than that,
yep.
It was a neat experience. And for those that, watching White Noise, they had the little desk there to take their notes. Oh.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I'm still thinking of movies. The Amityville movie obviously was not very factual, I don't think, but it was pretty good with James Brolin.
It franchised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the remake with Ryan Reynolds.
I liked Waiting. You remember that movie? You see that one? You didn't see Waiting with Ryan Reynolds? It's called Waiting. You got to watch it. It's hilarious.
He's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious. I don't know.
He's a trip, and then there's just so many out there. Another one, What Lies Beneath. That one was creepy. The Others. I liked how The Others portrayed it.
The Others with Nicole Kidman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that had a twist at the end. That was interesting.
Yeah, that hit you like a 2x4 at the end. It was like, no.
Yeah, that was good. That was pretty good. I'm just, I don't know. I guess I'm just old fashioned. I like the old movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were, better made. Now
better made.
AI and green screen, and you could basically, make a whole movie from a computer nowadays.
Yeah.
You don't even have to have actors anymore. But
just put them in there.
It would be great if we did a movie on paranormal activity that was factual, like the Paranormal Activity movies. Even what was it, the Blair Witch Project?
Jeez.
The Blair Witch Project.
Oh, I was so gullible with that movie.
I think we all were. What was that, late 1990s?
I was so gullible. I mean it. And then she comes on Letterman, and I'm like, wait a minute. She died. How the hell is she on Letterman? Because it's all based on a true story, and I got sucked right into that thing. The thing in the corner, and then yeah.
Yeah, I hate that. Even these videos you watch, it's like there's something there in the dark corner of the room, and you're looking, and then the video cuts out, or they go running the other way. I'm like, what the? I'm sitting there going, looking at the TV, and my wife thinks I'm nuts because I'm down here screaming at the television. She's like, who are you yelling at? I'm like, where's your evidence? Show me something.
Yep.
I get all. My blood pressure gets up.
Yeah, and it's just.
I gotta pop nitro pills.
Pop nitro
I'm
pills.
sitting there going, come on, show me your evidence. I know I'm bad. I'm entertaining them.
What do you think, Heather?
She just shakes her head.
I have nothing to say.
Show me your evidence.
Show me your evidence. God, I'm screaming at it. I got the cats looking at me like, what the?
You know you're a real paranormal investigator when you're screaming at the TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I must
and it's
agree.
not even only the shows. Like I said, it's these like slapped ham. You guys have heard of that, right?
Slapped ham?
Yeah, it's called Slapped Ham on YouTube. They show videos that they compile from all over the world that are alleged to have. You never saw it? No?
I gotta check this out.
Oh, yeah. Slapped Ham. Yeah.
The name alone.
I'm signed up for alerts when they come out with a new
I'm
episode.
signed up for alerts.
And it'll be like CCT camera footage and, people videoing their cat playing with the cat balls in the house, and all of a sudden a dark figure walks by. I'm like, all right, well, what was that? A lot of it, I'm sure, is probably faked. But someone will leave they'll be at work and they'll leave a video camera running or something, or a Ring camera in their house, and all of a sudden the drawers are open and knives are flying out of the drawers, and but then they leave you hanging like that purposely. You're sitting there, all right, well, where's the follow up?
Yeah.
Well, what's going on? People are hearing their names being called in the middle of the night in their own voices. Hey, I'm down here. Come here. I want to show you something. I'm like, I bet you do.
See, that's creepy.
It is creepy, but you guys, if you haven't watched it, there's other channels too, but Slapped Ham is the first one that comes to mind.
Oh,
It
man.
sounds like a paranormal caught on camera.
Slapped Ham. Do it on YouTube. Look it up, and you'll just watch. There's video after video after video of skinwalkers and Bigfoot, and I'm like, why haven't you have all these Bigfoot sightings, but they're always very grainy and cloudy and 1,000 miles away. And like, if you see a Bigfoot walking through the woods and I got a 45 strapped to my hip, all right, I'm running after it. Run after it. Get some evidence. All these Bigfoot shows, and I like them, but
they haul
don't
ass.
capture anything. You hear something howling off in the distance, and I'm like, I act like that when I'm hungry. I mean,
Go get it.
It just drives me nuts where people get rocks thrown at them and you hear knocking on the trees. And I'm like, well, that's all cool, but where's the evidence of these creatures that everyone seems to get these photos of? And you don't know what to believe, but then you got, I don't know, what is it, swamp monkey or whatever they call it down in Florida? What do they have down there?
Skunk monkey. Skunk ape.
Skunk ape?
Yeah.
I mean, you believe in that? Go catch one. All right. I have an open mind.
I have a whole chapter on it on my next book.
All right, I want to run over one with an airboat.
They're smaller. They're smaller than the average Bigfoot.
Come on.
Yeah. And the reason why they smell is because they build their nests underneath alligator nests in the swamps. So they get, basically the leftover food that the alligators don't eat that starts rotting and stuff like that. And that's kind of contributes to their smell.
And the alligators don't eat these things?
No.
I don't know.
They smell too awful.
I don't know.
And they're bigger than alligators.
But yeah, this program, shows like alien stuff and lights in the sky, and I'm like, all right, well, if there's lights in the sky, why aren't we sending the Air Force up there to check them out or something?
That's what's weird.
You gotta watch. You know what I'm talking about when you watch it, but it's not just paranormal stuff. It's aliens, it's Bigfoot, cryptozoology, all that stuff. It's interesting, but it gets my blood pressure up because some of them are like,
where's your evidence?
Watching a CCT camera of like a security guard having a conversation with somebody, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, their buddy that's in the office watching the camera is watching the guy talking to nobody. So he'll radio him. He's like, who are you talking to? I'm talking to this lady. I'm like, there's nobody there, dude. Yeah, Mrs. So-and-so died a week ago. and they see the guy run away. I'm like, if that's true, that's really cool.
Uh-huh.
But you don't get there's no follow-up. You don't get any more information. And that's the purpose, to leave you, hanging.
Yeah.
It pisses me off.
Clickbait.
Right. The old bait and switch deal,
Or you have people who don't know what they're videotaping, because we saw a video. We were still living in Vegas, and someone was staying in one of the hotels shooting away from the strip. And they're like, look at all those lights in the sky. All the alien UFOs are lining up. Where they were at was like looking straight down McCarran Airport's runway. And it was all the airplanes lining up to land at night. Oh. But they're saying it was, and they're serious. They're, promoting it as, hey, check out all these aliens getting ready to invade Vegas. And it's like,
man, do your homework.
It's like, because we could see this, the line of planes every night, because they would pass around where we lived to circle onto the strip. And it was just like, gosh.
I think an alien invasion would be pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
And you know what? And if they do exist, which I can't imagine they don't, I mean, there's nothing we could do about it. They're so much further advanced than we are.
Yeah.
If they wanted to come and take us over, they could do it probably pretty easily. Our weapons would be, laughable. But I
agree.
I don't see that happening. I think we're going to blow ourselves up the way this world's going these days.
The way it's going to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, but they're all lined up around the earth with their popcorn waiting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Waiting to come in and use the resources in the right way.
They find us entertaining.
Very.
I've said to my wife before, I said, you know what? I don't mean to sound negative, but I wish an asteroid would just take us all out and start over again.
It's,
You know what? I'm kidding, of course. But
no.
It's just like,
but they've been predicting that for years, too. The end of the world and these doomsday preppers and everything. And it's
well, they might have something there. I mean, the last few asteroids that zoomed by, they didn't even see to the last minute because they come from the direction of the sun.
Yeah.
There may be a big one out coming at us right now. We'll never know it.
Look at Yellowstone. I mean, that's one giant volcano. That thing goes, it'll take out everything else within its path.
My son's out there right now. He went out to Montana. And I told him I had just seen something on the news about, the activity. They were always saying the activity's ramping up, but you never know when that cauldron's just going to explode. And that'll destroy the world. That thing's huge.
It's massive, and it's an underground system. It just tunnels and all over the place. It'll just boom, blow up.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I just this stuff aggravates me.
It's okay.
Does it aggravate you as much as people wearing t-shirts?
It's like, remember George Carlin? Well, I get pissed, goddammit.
Yeah. Oh,
There's another thing that grinds my gears.
I miss him. George Carlin. Jeez.
Here's another group of people that should be dragged out in the backyard and beaten in the head with hammers.
The 7 deadly words.
Oh, guy, I got a bunch more, but I can't say them here.
Just the way he recites them.
Oh, God.
He says them like it's standard.
It was hilarious. Well, we got questions. What we got going here? We have
it's been quiet. Left? Nicole's been commenting a lot, and I see Dana's here.
Nicole says, beat me up, Scotty.
Yeah. Yeah, we got groupies. I love it.
Giant Meteor 2024, Dana's saying. Giant Meteor 2024.
Oh, is that what they're saying?
Yeah. I mean, there's always something on this path. To us. And but yet it misses us. It just kind of derails by miles. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I'm sure
a giant meteor.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what to believe anymore.
I know. I mean, you've
bigger than
when you have those movies like Deep Impact where a meteor hits and destroys half the world. People, you hear giant meteor. It's fear mongering.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't watch the news
2012.
anymore.
Remember that movie? I think it was called 2012 with John Cusack.
Oh yeah, John Cusack.
Yep.
Where you see the waves coming over Mount Everest. I'm like, yeah, well, I'd just be like, all right, let's sit there in a lawn chair.
That's all you can do.
What are you gonna do?
Like the guy that he quit drinking. He was an alcoholic. He quit drinking for like 50 years. And what does he do? He sees that huge wave and he's out there taking a drink. You bet. You bet. Because there's if you're gonna go out happy. Because you see that coming. And I don't know. 2012, that was a big thing. That was a big, huge. What the Mayans predicted
Mayan calendar or something.
Yeah, the Mayan calendar, December 21st of 2012.
I mean, there were a lot of people that believed that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of from what I heard, a lot of the predictions that they made did come true. I guess depending on how you interpret them.
Right.
But it's like, all right, 2012 came and went. The year 2000 came and went. We're still here. With the Y2K stuff.
Yeah, the Y2K. Oh my goodness, people were sacrificing chickens over that stuff. It was insane. The turn of the century. That computer systems are going to go down. We got the dates all wrong.
People say witches are evil.
Well, these days you can identify yourself as anything. I identify myself as a millionaire. But I'm not.
I identify myself as a billionaire.
Honestly, I was filling out an application for a job, and one of the questions was for military service. And it actually says, do you identify as a military veteran?
Oh, man.
Do you identify as?
I was like, sure.
Oh, man.
Well, if I'm going to get a 15% discount, yes, I am.
Joe, they're getting so politically correct with this stuff.
Like, if that gets me the job, I'll identify as one, but
I get excited because I have an AARP card and I get 15% off at Denny's. At the Grand Slam breakfast.
Yeah. I'd get my wallet and show you mine, but I don't have it in the room. I'm with you.
I still have my application I need to send in.
You know what's funny? And I absolutely do this because I'm cheap. I go through Dunkin' Donuts and I get my refresher and my muffin. I'm like, oh, yeah, don't forget my senior discount. Like, great, yeah. You got teenagers working the window. Okay, sir, come on up.
Come on.
Like, oh, wow, you are old, huh? I had one girl. She's like, you don't look old enough to be a senior. I'm like, here's my AARP card. She's like, oh, okay, I don't care. Hey, save $1.
The struggle is real.
Isn't it 55 now where you can start getting your discounts?
Huh?
55, isn't that? Because I know when I go shopping at Bell's, they ask me if I'm 55 yet, so they can give me a discount. And I'm just like, sure.
Don't rub it in. I could literally buy a house in a 55 and up community now. I would be accepted. Oh, maybe not.
That's pretty cool because that's peaceful.
Yeah, but it's depressing to think about.
I know.
Because deep down inside, I'm like 7.
I'm like a big kid too. I'm 50. I'm like a big kid.
Yeah, you're only as old as you feel.
I'm a Toys kid. I'll never grow up.
I don't want to grow up.
Action age, not your shoe size. Well, I got a pretty big shoe size, so 15 triple E.
15 triple E.
Oh yeah,
that's a bra size.
I go water skiing without skis.
Holy cow! Is that really how big it is, Joe?
Yeah, 15. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 15 wide. I mean,
15 wide.
I wish I had a shoe here. I'd show you.
No, 15s are big. There's a place close to us called Grundeman's that you guys know the tallest man in the world, Robert Wadlow.
Yeah, Wadlow. Yeah.
He used to have his shoes made there. It's about a half hour away from us, and they have his pair of shoes in there.
They're like 22 or 23 or.
Oh yeah, they're just
huge. Yeah.
They're huge. It looks like something a clown would wear. They're so big. I mean, they're massive. They weigh like 12 pounds a piece. They're just huge, and he had to carry that extra weight just in shoes alone. This poor guy,
Andre the Giant, how big he was.
Andre.
I miss him. I met him a couple times. I used to be a wrestling fan when I was a kid. God, he died 30 years ago already.
Andre the Giant.
There's
Yeah.
nothing we won't talk about on this show, huh?
No.
Well, he's a ghost now.
That's what we get when we have no plans.
Huh? Yeah, but it's fun. Hal. You're regimented. I'm not. That's why we compliment each other. I just shoot from the hip.
But when
I
it
had a
comes to
freaking
my shows, I
blast.
have no plans either. I mean, just ask Todd Tuesday morning. It's like, sure, I have a guest.
And it's great conversation.
Well,
It's really good conversation.
Some of the best conversations come like this,
Unscripted.
seriously,
Mhm. Yep.
When you get serious, you talk about a serious subject, and then you act like a jackass for 20 minutes. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it keeps me sane. You got to have a sense of humor, especially in this world.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. My God.
Especially when I hang up with you guys, I'm going to go watch Slapped Ham and get aggravated.
I'm going
You
to
know
bed.
you guys are going to be watching that. All you viewers, you're all going to be
I'm going to
watching
look it up
Slapped
after the
Ham
show,
as soon as
Slapped
the
Ham.
show's over. I enjoy it.
Nicole wears a size 6.
I wear a
Who's
size
a
12.
6, you could put your feet in my shoes
Mhm.
with your
With
shoes
their shoes
on.
on.
That's itty bitty. That's a tiny
Yeah.
foot.
Size 6. Wow. All right, let's what's our shoe size? Dana, you're a 7.
Dana's a 7.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm a 10.
12.
And
Wow.
yes, Jackie's right. You can't take things too personal.
Yep.
You got to learn how to, especially through all this muck.
Yeah, I mean, life's too short to get aggravated about everything, unless it's Slapped Ham. There's just no reason for that. You don't leave people hanging like that.
No, I think I've seen the video you're talking about with the knives flying out of the drawer and then it just cut.
I mean, I would think it'd be pretty hard to fake that, but
I mean, who's holding the magnet up here? Electromagnet? What's going on?
I mean, I've seen a lot of interesting things but you need more information.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to believe everything I see, but have some follow-up videos or something.
Yeah.
I mean, because if some
it.
of these videos were really true, I'd be like, paranormal investigators would be descending on you like friggin' flies. I just think it's a cool show. I mean, when you got nothing else to do and my wife's at work and I'm all by myself unsupervised. Oh my God, the cops will get called.
When they leave us alone.
Heather, we're gonna have so much fun in Florida. I think Dana's coming. Dana's coming to Florida. Nicole, you coming? You guys got.
You're in trouble, Heather. I just hope law enforcement isn't involved.
And it's funny because it'll be my mom and my son with me, and then my husband has to drive back and forth every day because we don't have anywhere for the dog to go.
Oh, no.
So I'll be unsupervised.
I need someone to adopt me.
I need someone to adopt me.
I do. Maybe your mom will adopt me.
Oh, she will.
My mom's gone, sadly. So.
Yep, I was an only child until she adopted a friend of mine from high school, and to this day we call each other brother and sister.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, think about it. We're all brothers and sisters, really. If you want to get technical about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always used to tell my mother I was the black sheep of the family, and she gets so mad at me. I'm like, I was adopted. And one day my father looks at me and goes, "Who would adopt you?" Who would adopt you? I'm like, "Thanks, Dad." Jeez, get no respect.
And we were just talking about that too. We didn't get it from our parents.
I can't believe it's midnight.
Oh, we have so much fun. Let's go another hour. Let's go another hour. What the heck?
No, I gotta get up early.
I'll bounce off this microphone, Joe.
Oh, this was so much fun, guys.
Yep.
Oh, I had a blast. Thank you so much.
No
Dude,
problem.
Todd, you're usually in the background laughing at me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
I look forward to it. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just good. The show's good. It's just, the conversation's good.
I need this break.
I need a break just to get you more organized.
Come on.
In time.
I know.
No, it's like I was telling him. I mean, I'm sure you heard, but I'm booked almost through summer. on my other show.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we're going to talk next week.
Yep.
And you'll keep me focused.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have the time blocked out, and I have a list of guests of people who want to be on the show.
Well, until they find out who Joe's going to be on? Nah, no thanks. $5,000.
I've gotten a few people. No.
$5,000.
Oh, but yeah, we'll definitely be back once we get through the next month.
Yeah, it's going to be busy the next couple of months, but
that's okay.
Good. That's a good thing. Do you do lecturing, Todd?
I used to. I got off the circuit a few years ago. I had a little mishap and can't drive at the moment. That's coming soon.
I'll pick you up.
That's coming soon. I'm gonna get back out there and get. I did EVP history.
Mm-hmm.
I lectured on that with Raudiva and Jurgensen and all those guys and Sarah Estep and all the fun old school stuff I talked about.
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost like I seem like sometimes I don't fit in anymore because the old school stuff is kind of.
People look at you like you're a moron.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't dare them to say it to my face.
Call me what you like, but I do what I feel comfortable with, you know?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's how we grew up. That's how we learned.
I haven't figured out analog recording yet, so I'm not ready to move into something more advanced. I want to figure this out first, then maybe.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just stubborn.
Well, you know, some of these people, like our friend Bill,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you saw his table last year. Bill had like 3 tables filled with tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm looking at this stuff. I'm like, what is that? What's that called? What does that do? I'm like, because he's one of those tech geeks.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm like, Bill,
Mm-hmm.
it fills his minivan or whatever. It just, I mean, I helped him load up last year at the end of the event. And I'm like, you got like no room for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just amazing. Wow. But I'm like, you got thousands and thousands of dollars of equipment.
Adds up.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I my equipment fits in like a little suitcase. You know, I got my demonology equipment and I got my camera equipment, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need. I tell people, I'm like, if you're dealing with an intelligent being or spirit, you're not going to need cat balls. They'll be able to communicate with you.
They'll find a way.
They'll find a way. You don't have to sit and listen to hours of white noise. Oh, I just heard my name called. Oh. I mean, you know.
Well, with that, you'll hear pareidolia. You'll hear the Gettysburg Address if you listen hard enough.
Yep.
Yeah, your mind is a powerful thing. It's gonna let you hear what you want to hear if you try hard enough. Yeah. That's why I say with people that send me pictures, is if you take a picture and there's something in the photo, you're gonna see it right away. Mm-hmm. Don't stare at it. Oh, wait a minute, you know. Yeah. No, I said just look at it quickly, scan it over. It should be able to jump right out of you. You know. And then sometimes people get upset. Well, that's not a face. I'm like, no, it's a tree.
No, it's a tree.
It's a tree. Well, no, this looks like it's a face smiling at me. I'm like, well, okay, whatever.
That's the reflection of the candy corn in the
window.
Oh,
yeah. Then they want to argue with you. I'm like, okay, it's a face.
And, you know, it's right there. You can see it. Look.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's just nuts these days. But we'll have to go into another show with that stuff.
Yep.
Evidence, what people claim is evidence anyway.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to pull out my videos from the orb show we did on Ghosted.
Oh, I'd like to see that. Orbs are a big controversial topic.
Big, huge.
Yeah. Well, I even shared a news story from here in Florida where a pastor said he had an orb spirit in his home, and it was clearly a spider web.
A pastor, huh?
Yeah,
pastor of a local church.
And did
swore
he
his home was haunted, and that was the evidence he presented the news station.
And did you tell him, or did someone tell him it was a spider web?
No, but we put it up on Ghosted and laughed at it.
Damn.
No, I I try not to laugh at people, but if you try to,
We're just slap happy by the end of the show because
I do. Don't get me wrong, I do laugh with them or at them or whatever you want to say. But if they're not reasonable to at least listen to you and say, look, this isn't a face. This is see the bark. See this. Blow it up, maybe lighten it. I mean, you can do that now.
Newscasters who should do their research.
Yeah.
Even one that we shared was a cameraman who was being interviewed because while he was filming a segment at a location, he captured a green orb during the filming of the segment.
Ooh,
and it was just the light reflecting off of it. A cameraman should know this.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he captured an orb and a ghost. And it was just, the people who should know this don't. And that's the problem.
That's what's scary.
Right. But, but the thing is, when you do explain it to them, someone that may know a little bit more and they dismiss it.
Mm-hmm.
They just, oh, you're crazy. It's a ghost. Well, all right, whatever. Yep. I don't argue with people over it.
Nah. I miss the days when people told us we were crazy because we thought it was a ghost.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, like, what do they say? The people that believe no evidence is necessary. The people that don't believe no evidence is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true.
Yeah, that's a true statement.
I believe because I have an open mind that anything's possible. Mm-hmm. And the way I explain that to people is, look, when I'm talking to an audience, I'm like, well, how are we possible? How did we get here? Mm-hmm. You may have different beliefs, but we just poof into existence. I mean, how did we get here? If we're sitting here possible, then why wouldn't skunk ape be possible, or Bigfoot, or aliens? You got to at least have an open mind, because that's going to drive your research. If you believe in it, this is possible. Let's go find some scientific evidence that it exists, if you can. That's the fun in it.
Agreed.
But anyway, we should probably go.
Yeah.
I can go all night. Who's game?
I know. My butt's falling asleep.
Cool.
One of these days, Joe will have a marathon.
I know. I'm telling you, because I'm not going to go to bed. I'm going to sit here and watch Slap Tim. Get all fired up.
We'll have to do that one Saturday with the other shows and try to do it as a fundraiser.
Yeah, we can do that. We could definitely do that.
Yeah.
Cool
but
idea.
Anyway,
we could do a comedy show too.
Yeah.
Paranormal comedy show.
Slap spam.
Yeah, there you go.
Joe froze again, Heather.
Well, anyway, while he's frozen, real
quick,
thank you everyone for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you, Todd, for joining.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Oh, it's great. You guys are amazing.
Heather, I love you.
I know.
You
guys are amazing.
I can't wait to see you guys, really, in Florida.
Yep. I'll be there. And we'll see you guys all in 1 month when we return. So thank you all for watching and have a great night.
Take care. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTKDB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.